Well, I'm doing the first real field work that I can get done this year. Got all these bales of hay down here. My cousins, I gotta get picked up out of the field. This is just all bedding hay, and got to get it done. And this is the first day. I don't know what today is. Today's what, 24th or 25th of April, something like that. 25th, I think. And I'm only going to get a small load. I usually put another layer of bales on top, another row of 5. I can get 2 rows of 6 here on the bottom for 12 bales. And I usually put another layer on top, get to 5, so I haul 17 bales. I gotta shift down with that tractor on the hills and stuff, but it's soft out here yet. Field ain't carrying too bad right here. It shows up too well. I'm leaving pretty good tread marks. I'm running water on the tires in spots, but where I got to go out the driveway there, it gets kind of soft. I think after I take a load or two, you always get that really slimy stuff on top. You know how stuff rises on water? I think you get the light slimy stuff comes to the top, and after you drive through it a few times, and that gets all splashed out of there, and you get down to a little harder stuff underneath, and they'll help dry it up a little bit. I think after the next load, maybe I can start hauling these 17 bale loads. But I got quite a few down here. Them bales been sitting down here probably 3 to 4 years already. I can't see them from over here. Got our field over there. There's probably 50 or 60 bales in that field from the last couple of years. I got all these here. Probably not going to show up too well. There's a lot of bales down here because it's been 2 years since I've gotten any good hay off this down here. 2 years ago, couldn't even get down here at all, just rained so much. So all that stuff grew up and died off. And my plan was last spring to come up here, mow that off so I could get the good hay last year. But last spring was a bitch. You couldn't get down here at all. So I figured if I get any chance of getting good hay down here, I had to get it mowed off last year. So I got it mowed and baled, but like I say, it just kept raining and raining and raining. Just couldn't get down here to get it. I did haul 17 bales off that half over there last fall, and I barely got the wagon pulled out of the field. I mean, I don't see my tracks out there now, but man, I was really scratching and clawing. And then I couldn't get another load because on the way home, about a mile from home, I got a flat tire in the back of that wagon. And that was real fun, crawling underneath that thing and jacking it up with a full load of hay on top of it. So I mean, there's probably, if I could get 17 bale loads, there's got to be at least another 8 or 9 loads just from what I baled last year. Clear down at the far end where it gets brown again, there's a row of bales. It was here from 3 years ago. Them are from 3 years ago. I mean, I probably got another 150, 200 bales. I got enough hay down here to use for bedding for another year. I just hope I can get some good hay in here. And that's what I want to do. I want to get this hay out of here so I can get down here and spray this with some 2,4-D, because I mean, a lot of goldenrod was starting to come into this. That doesn't look like there's much good stuff here, really. I don't know if anything's really going to grow. It might have killed out all the seeding. I'm hoping for 2 years not baling it. You know, all that grass went to seed, and I mowed it last year. I know it shattered off. So hopefully it reseeded itself somewhat, and might get some good hay down here yet. But I say I want to get this sprayed. But what's the sense of doing anything? Like I say, this is April 25th. Do you see any real green in here? Nothing is greening up here yet. You look at the trees. You don't see no red tint or heavy, like leaves are coming on them yet. I mean, everything seems to be dormant here yet. I just don't get how these guys out in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Montana, how they're going and planting corn already. I mean, I would think they'd still be under snow yet, and we'd have the decent weather. But we just can't get nothing. Today's finally up in the 60s. Might dry up some. But I think they still got, I think they even got some snow in the forecast for this week yet. Not that I'm worried about it here yet. And like I say, we usually get snow the end of April, beginning of May sometimes. And I never really started planting corn until May 10th anyhow. A lot of guys do. A lot of guys are started by now, but I haven't seen anybody around here planting corn yet. Now this is a field I had that sedan grass in last year. It never got because it kept raining and it got frosted on me and it was no good. And that's why I'm hoping this week, first of the week or so, I could get down here and maybe hit this with the discs. It would disc up nice enough if I get it at the right point. I think I could just disc this down here. I don't think I'd have to plow this. You know, like I said, my planter is got no-till attachments on it, so I think I could get by doing it. That's why I used to do it. If the ground, I never had much luck planting in straight sod, but if I would disc up an old cornfield, you know, if it was corn to 1 year, I disc it up, I could plant it, no problem the next year. It worked pretty decent. So that's the plan. My plan too was, like I said, another 6 or 7 acres. The next field over here, and that was my plan this year, to plow all this up and put corn in all this here. But this ground down here, I can't get no manure on. I got to put fertilizer down here, and I have no clue yet how I'm going to pay for anything. I mean, I'm maxed out on everything, and about to default on stuff probably. Talked to the milk inspector about what the price of milk's doing. He just laughs it off. You know, it's going to drop, but yet, you know, his paycheck ain't dropping. The CEOs of DFAs is not dropping. I guarantee everybody that's working in these processing plants for them have got a pay raise because it's hazardous to be out there in these situations. You know, like I said, my wife works for CVS and she's getting extra couple bucks an hour to be working. But yet, I'm essential. I'm still out here trying to get this done, and like I say, I'm probably going to take a 40% cut in pay at least. And I got paid $19 last month, and they're talking $12 milk before this is done, maybe even lower. Somebody said already the one, which month it was here now, June or July's futures price is already down to $10. So, I say what we can do, see what we can do. I don't know. It's more than likely going to force me out the way things look. I don't have no too much optimism about it here at this point. Yeah, can't get any of them grants. There's still supposed to be stuff coming from the government through the FSA, but you know, it's always amounts to pennies on the dollar. And it's going to be the mega guys, you know, they're going to get the 10s, 20s, 30s, thousands of dollars that you could do something with, and the small guy like me is going to get a couple $100, maybe 3,000-4,000 bucks. You know, that might pay the feed bill for 1 or 2 months, but that's not going to cover anything else. Still got all the other expenses. So, and I say all this stuff was just a hoax anyhow, in my opinion. I mean, it's serious, but they overhyped this so damn much. If you really look at the numbers, it's not as deadly for the number of confirmed cases. You know, the ones that if you take the ones that got the antibodies and the ones that they confirmed had the virus, to the death rate, it's under 1%. But they're taking the ones they have confirmed with the death, that tested positive, and the death rate, and then they get that 3 to 4% and make it look bad. I don't understand these shutdowns. Think about it. I have seen where that virus stays viable on surfaces for around 6 hours. All right? Then why do we have to shut down everything? I mean, if they're traced it back to, wouldn't it be when you shut down the business at night? If that virus dies in 6 hours, if you overnight, by morning there should be no virus there, I would think. You know, I'm seeing here now where they're saying they want you to stay inside. They don't even want you going out and mowing your lawn in some places. I'm seeing now, and even my brother's a doctor in Toledo, and he's even said this too. that virus dies in minutes in sunlight. The heat and humidity and sunlight kills this virus, but yet they want you to stay inside. So think about that for a little bit. And then, if anybody's going out making their own masks, just a little bit of advice here, a little public service announcement. This is what my brother says he's seeing over there. Now, what I've seen, people taking them feminine napkins, maxi pads, and making masks out of that. I don't see how they think you're going to breathe through that. I mean, that's thick, and the stuff in there is designed when it absorbs moisture, it turns to a gel. So when your moisture in your breath as you're breathing out, gel that up and make it more of a solid, how are you going to breathe through that? But my brother, he was telling that people, and like I said, he's in Toledo, and I guess he's seen it, or at least confirmed cases of it, where people are taking HEPA filters out of vacuum cleaners and cutting them up to make masks out of. The problem with that is, them HEPA filters have fiberglass in them. And when you cut them, you're breaking them strands of fiberglass. These people are breathing in microfiber shards of glass. So like I say, I mean, you gotta watch who you listen to and just use some common sense out there. But like I say, they gotta get this stuff opened up. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, everything they're saying now, nothing's proven out to what they originally projected. Let's put it that way. So, I suppose I better head up home. I'd like to come down here and get another load. Maybe this one will pull out easy enough. Then maybe the next one I can get 17 bale. But I know I'm not going to get that backfilled for a while. I mean, that is wet down there. I'd need probably 4 or 5 good drying days to be able to even think about going to that field. But they say I can get all these here, and I could probably get them old bales down there. I mean, I could clean up pretty much everything in this field, no problem. That field over there would carry good if I could find a way to get out of it. No matter where I go, I know it gets soft up here where the old barn used to be, and I know I'm not going to have a very good time pulling a load. And I don't see anything much better here where I could come across this to get out this way to get on the solid driveway, because this is an old gas well driveway in between these two fields. So it's fairly solid. I mean, it's rutted to beat hell, but it's pretty solid about that. So, but I suppose I better get heading home. We'll catch up with you later. Yeah, I thought I'd just add this on. This is the edge of where I got to come through. This is the worst part. Yeah, it made it through there no problem. But I thought I'd show this here too. Maybe I'll come down here and play with this. I've never plowed with these. They'll go. I do think there's, if I remember right, these one or both these wheel bearings are bad. I mean, I think it's that one. I don't think that one even actually has a real bearing in it. I think my dad made some kind of sleeve to take up the slack or something. I mean, they got their issues, but I mean, they'll plow. Just need to get a hydraulic cylinder on it. My cousin swiped that off. These are Oliver plows. I don't know what model number they are. I know they're a 14-inch plow. I never plowed with them. You know, I've only plowed, first tractor I ever plowed with was the Ford there. We got that in 87, so it'd be 88. Our neighbor had a set of white 4-bottom, 14-inch, 3-point hitch plows that he never used. He had a 6600 Ford, and they were too much plow for his tractor. So he let us borrow them. We all eventually did buy them. But they were bent or something. They didn't do a very good job plowing. They weren't used much, but something wasn't right. And I don't like plowing with 3-point hitch plows, so I ended up buying a set of 4/16. It's a Oliver 546 plow, the 4-bottom 16-inch semi-mounts. And that's what I've been plowing with. So up until 1988, these are the plows we used to plow with. And I remember it was be back in the 70s. They were a 2-bottom plow at one time. I don't know if my dad originally bought them as a 3-bottom and made them a 2-bottom, but he had the 3rd bottom. And I know we used to pull these with the John Deere 60 as a 2-bottom. And then it was like the early 80s, 80, 81, somewhere in there. We bought an 880 Oliver off of actually my cousin's in-laws, and that's when my dad put the 3rd bottom on these plows, and we used to plow with that 880 Oliver with these. Now the reason they're down here is my cousins were out playing and stuff. They were playing around planting some buckwheat and for the honeybees and stuff, and they wanted to plow up some ground, so they borrowed these, and they've been down here ever since. You know, it's probably been 5-6 years since they've been used. You know, they've been broke. Snapped that clevis at one time. My uncle used to work up the GE, and he welded that up with stainless steel. That's the problem with these plows, hooking them up. You got back up just about perfect to them. They did a damn good job of plowing. Like I said, I'm pretty sure just grease them up and I'd go with them. I remember right there, you know, pump up the tires soft. I mean, I know there's some wear in here. In fact, they changed something on there. I don't remember doing this. There's supposed to be a lock that you hook into this hole, so when you go down the road, the wheel stays stationary. Right now, without that unlocked, when you turn, the wheel will turn with the plow to swing it around. But when you go down the road, it gets that fishtailing to it. So I don't know what the hell happened to that. I don't remember my dad doing it. They might have done it, but yeah. I got that 270 white, now to pull them. I tried plowing one time with them 416s on semi-mounts on that white, and it was a little bit much for that tractor, at least in our ground. When we bought that Ford, they said out in Ohio they pull 5 bottoms of the tractor that size. That's a 7710, but it's supposed to be 95 horse. You know, in our ground, 4 bottoms is enough for that sometimes. And then here's something else, you probably don't see much. An old subsoiler. That actually looks like something they cut off. It's like probably an old grater blade or something they cut off for that. And I do believe this will work. I don't see how it trips though. I mean, I can't believe you sink it in. Oh, here's the trip lever. Yeah, that would raise it up. Alright, I just don't have a rope on that right now. My cousins used this a couple years ago. One field out back here, I think the one they were going to plow, they actually went out there and played with this back there. So, and if I remember right, I don't think they have it now. I remember the stories, their dad used to use this quite a bit. And I remember a story, they have a bullet that you hook on a chain on the bottom of this. It's like 3-4 inches in diameter. And when you sink this in the ground, you start pulling through the ground, that bullet goes through and it'll leave that pocket, you know, 3-4 inch pocket down through there, and it'll act like a tile to help drain the water out. And they say that'll stay there for several years. Probably would stay there when you're using A's and B's to work ground. I don't think if you took that in there and went in there with a John Deere 8345 or something like that, I don't think them would last that long. So, but yeah, that's how they used to drain fields years ago. Let me say, well, that bullet thing's probably somewhere up there in that pile. It used to be a nice big garage here, chicken coop on top and stuff. They had all kinds of tools and stuff in there. That collapsed, so it's probably buried in there somewhere. Now you see it right there. Another little shed that's got a B in it that's collapsed on top of it. That's an A there. There's another B on the other side in between there. And I think there's some old ammonium nitrate from the 50s and 60s in there or something. The real good stuff that's real explosive. I don't know how volatile, well, it's probably, I don't know, it's if it gets more volatile or not. I don't know if it'd be much good anymore, but I know there's some bags of some stuff I was told you don't want to monkey with in there. So, well, like I say, I gotta head home. Okay, maybe I can get at least another 12 bales out of here today. That's what I gotta get. I gotta chop bedding. Don't have nothing up home I can get to real easy. So I thought, well, I'll get some of these hauled home and we'll be good. So, thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.